Hey, how are you today? All right, so it's going to be a short one today because I have a client right after this. I'm actually going to put a little alarm for myself so that I don't run over because sometimes I have all the intentions in the world of making this short and it turns out to not be short. So I want to talk to you today briefly about safety and security. Because they're the foundation of the peace, of the freedom, of the abundance that we desire. And a lot of the work that I do with clients is really anchoring ourselves, steeping ourselves in what I call the inexhaustible ground of safety. So here's the thing: when our nervous system is contracted, when our brain is steeped in lack or in scarcity, we essentially have a funny way of forgetting the spaciousness, all the possibilities that are available. That contraction, that lack makes us forget the eternal, the infinite aspect of our own being and of our life. So when we feel contracted, that contraction essentially drives us to seek safety and security. And for most of us, we think that safety and security is out there and that it is in the material. So we're driven and we're focusing all our energy in trying to create safety in the material world in what is already limited and ephemeral, because everything out there in life to some degree is always changing and it doesn't last. That's the definition of this realm, this planet, in some ways. And so we're looking for expansion, we're looking for safety out there, but because it can't be found there, it actually reinforces our sense of limitation. It reinforces our sense of that nothing is secure, that everything is always changing, almost like a sense of feeling out of control a little bit. And that just creates more contraction. It becomes a vicious cycle. And it's why I always tell clients and in these videos that trying to create expansion from a place of contraction, trying to create abundance from a place of lack of scarcity, trying to create freedom and peace from fear never works, because the seed always creates the fruit. So if the seed of our movement is fear, is scarcity, is not feeling enough, then the fruit always creates more fear, more scarcity, more feeling of not enoughness. You essentially can't create the future that you desire from being in resistance to what is, from being in resistance to your present. So the work in terms of finding that safety, finding that security, in terms of creating the life we know in here we were born for, the business we know is possible, the work is always about bringing ourselves, both our neurocircuitry, our biochemistry, and our identity back into that inherent, unwavering sense of abundance, of trust, of peace that is always already here under the surface. When we have that, when we know how to anchor in that flow of peace, in that flow of safety, in that flow of trust and abundance that is not defined by out there, that's when that actually starts to ripple out. That inner safety starts to ripple out and we start to create it out there. That sense of security, of feeling grounded, centered, held, supported, starts to ripple out and be reflected back in our life. So you won't feel safe or experience security, peace, abundance, what you seek, by trying to create it out there. It's actually the reverse. You'll have it out there once you start to feel it and anchor into it in here. You see, our nervous system and our brain really struggles with allowing in and maintaining any experience that it is unfamiliar with. So if safety, if security, if abundance feels unfamiliar in here, if peace, if spaciousness, if freedom feels unfamiliar in here, if wealth feels unfamiliar in here, and that's true of all these feelings, but it's also true of creating breakthrough income months. It's true of bringing in a bunch of new clients. So if your nervous system, your brain, your energy level, your biochemistry doesn't know and is not comfortable with something, then it actually resists it out there. It blocks your ability to create it and to receive it. So the pathway to safety and security, to the abundance we seek, because in the end, that safety, that security is really about abundance and freedom. We want to feel safe, we want to feel secure because we want that abundance, we want that freedom. So the first step is always to normalize what you desire inside you. And what you desire is both the feeling sense of what you desire, like a sense of safety and security and abundance and joy, but it's also the tangible things, like the idea of making $1 million or the idea of bringing in, like, I don't know, doubling your business or your client load, and maybe defining a different way to do business. Like, it doesn't really matter what you desire, whether it's a very intangible internal sense or it's a very concrete external material aspect. But the first step is you have to normalize that inside you. And the way you normalize what you desire is, one, you rewire your nervous system to start to feel safe with it. So it doesn't really matter, like, if what you're working on, like when I work with clients, I'll work on that next level. I'll work on them raising their rates, doubling their rates, and being able to say their new rates. They literally have to feel safe saying that new rate. They have to feel safe receiving that new rate. They have to feel safe holding that new rate. So that's the nervous system work. Then the next step with normalizing what you desire inside you is you start to train your brain to anchor in the knowing of it, like to start to match your belief system, your thinking process to it, to start to be steeped in the possibility of it. That was pretty loud. Door slammed. So that's the mind, right? Like, we're starting to rewire and train the brain to feel like what we desire is known to it. It feels comfortable with it. It's steeped in it. The thoughts that we have, the beliefs that we have are in alignment with it. And the next way that you normalize what you desire inside of you so that you can create it out there is you start to uplift and recalibrate your energy level, your vitality, so that creating it and having it feels exciting, inspiring, easeful, without any of that overwhelm, without any of that drain that can sometimes happen. Like, I'll talk to a client and they're talking to me about their next level in their business and their next financial frontier, and they want to make $500,000, or they want to make 200,000 instead of the 100,000 they seem to be stuck at, or whatever it may be. Or shit, they want to make their first 100K. And when they start talking about what they're going to need to do to make that kind of money, it's like you can feel like their whole energy kind of leak out of their body. Like, it feels heavy, it feels hard, it feels filled with responsibility. It feels like they're going to have to put in a lot of effort, like there's going to be a lot of pressure. And so that's the energetic piece in terms of our own life force, our own motivation, our own vitality. We have to rewire our energy level so that we feel at maximum capacity, so that suddenly having the thing we want, both creating it and having it, feels like it's not going to be a drain on us. It feels like we have more than enough of ourselves and our energy to actually not only accomplish it, but hold it. And we feel excited and inspired to go for it. So in doing that, in like rewiring your nervous system for safety, for feeling safe and worthy of the things you desire, by training your brain to be in alignment and to be in the knowing of what you desire, and by shifting your energy level and your biochemistry to actually feel inspired, excited, feel like you have all the capacity, all the energy you need to create it and to hold it, you actually start to become a match for what you desire. You literally are shifting your identity. You're priming yourself for it. You're anchoring your new identity. It's like you become a new version of you, a new elevated version of yourself. And suddenly it's like you're anchoring yourself to that thing you seek and you desire out there in the world. And that's when creating it, receiving it, and holding it becomes easeful and sustainable, including repeating it. Because sometimes you'll see people do have like a breakthrough and then they can't quite seem to replicate it. That's also that thing. It's like when we have a breakthrough, then we need to make sure all those things are still aligned. We're still feeling safe with it. Our minds, our brains are in the knowing of it. They're in alignment with it. Our belief system are in alignment and in resonance with it. And our energy level still feels really uplifted, really expanded, really calibrated for essentially that next level, that new level that we just created. And that allows us to not only replicate it, but maybe even do better. So these steps that I just mentioned is essentially exactly what we do in my luminescence program. It's the perfect combo marriage between identity work and strategy. And it's the marriage of these two that allows you to basically make your dreams come true and to create incredible results in your life, in your business, in your wealth, with that ease, that flow, that joy that we all desire, essentially. So my little call to action for you guys is, I would love to put my 20 years, maybe even longer at this point, of experience as a psychotherapist, as an expansion expert, as a strategist to good use to help you achieve that next level that you're seeking and to help you get out of your own way so that you can achieve it with a lot more ease. So if you're ready to increase that capacity so that you can be seen in your greatness, so that you can enroll clients with so much more ease, so that you can, have continuous growth and expand your income in a way that feels really nourishing and fulfilling, then you're in the right place. And I would love to help you. So let's take your life, your business, your wealth to new levels. Let's restore both your internal flow and your external flow so that you can be in this place of overflow. And let's do that in resonance, in partnership with your entire neurocircuitry, with your nervous system, with your brain, with an uplifted, upgraded energy and vitality, so that the entirety of your being is in alignment, is in resonance, is a match for what you want to create. And it doesn't feel like sacrifice. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't lead to self-doubt. And it doesn't lead you to creating something you are not happy with in the long haul. So to get started with that, you have a couple options. The first one is, if you're ready to get going, you and I can do a free 20, 25-minute enrollment call where basically I'll answer all your questions and then we'll get moving, we'll get started. If you want to experience working with me before you dive into the deep end and you haven't gotten one of my 90-minute Wired for Wealth intensive with me one-on-one, then you can click the link and get that. And you get that as a new client who's never worked with me for 55% off. So it's a great deal and it's incredibly powerful work. And this isn't a sales call. This is truly a transformational journey that we get started. Like we literally get started on your expansion journey. So in the description of this live, you are going to see two links. You can, one for each, either the enrollment call or the Wired for Wealth Intensive at 55% off. If you click on them, you will get more details and you'll be able to make a decision and hopefully start working with me. I would love that. So that's what I have for you. I'm pretty impressed with myself. This was actually pretty short. I look forward to helping you unlock you and helping you become the most powerful and peaceful force in your life and in your business. I look forward to helping you get out of your own way and unwind anything that's been blocking the extraordinary results and growth that you're meant for and that maybe you're struggling with. In my book, the aim is always about emotional freedom and financial freedom, because when you have both, you have true freedom. All right, that's what I got. I will see you soon. Bye.